hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday to all of you. It is my hope that you are well and your families are blessed. We have been moving on turbo. And then, in addition to all of that, our family has been a little under the weather. And so, today is really the first day that I have felt good enough to go live. Like, I was good, the kids were kind of good, but then y'all know how it just comes and goes. So you'll one child will go down and then they lick another child's face and then that child goes down. And so it's been quite an adventure here in the Garrett house for the last few days. And so anyway, I'm going live today. It's lunch and learn time, lunch and learn Wednesday, or whatever day you happen to watch this live. It's always good for you to grab your whole entire life with yours truly. If it is your first time seeing me live, if you haven't been here in a while, I am Christina Garrett. I am the voice in the back of your mind. I am always consistently reminding you that you matter, your goals matter, and that we can be so much more successful when we are channeling our energy in the right way, utilizing our time in the right formats, and then moving forward with all gusto and all inertia to become the woman that we are supposed to be. Okay. So if you're watching wherever you are, hey Janisha, and hello to everyone else who is tuning in today. I have always loved this topic, but I'm going to tell you guys something. This is you all's favorite topic. I had the honor of speaking at hey sis, I had the honor of speaking at a Black homeschoolers conference about 2 weeks ago. And I promise you, this is always the topic that is so hot for everybody that comes. When we teach productivity the Mamathon way, we always have 4 pillars of productivity. Okay. I'm going to grab my coffee because it's going to be good today. We have 4 pillars of productivity where we work out how you reclaim your time. Not just I know I need to. Like there's a lot of self-awareness that comes into play here, but I got to say that the key to all of the movement forward is actually knowing what you want, knowing how to get it, and then how to move forward. So when we teach productivity, the Mamathon way, we have 4 pillars of productivity. Number 1, you create your family vision. What do you want? How do you want to get it? Who are the people that you are in covenant relationship with, right? Maybe you're a caretaker for a parent. Maybe you are, hi, I love you, call me or something. Let's talk soon. Maybe you are a caretaker for a parent. Maybe you are somebody who you're responsible. You have a husband who you love. You have children who you are called to nurture. Hey, Felicia. We have all of these different responsibilities, okay? And you're thinking about how in the world am I going to pursue all of this and do all of these things without maxing out, okay? So that's what the pillars are for. So the first one is you have to actually know what you're doing. You got to actually know what you want to accomplish, how you're going to handle it. What does 5 years from now look like for you? What does 10 years from now look like for you? And then we have to really lean into that, okay? If we're not willing to lean into that, then trying to reclaim your time and do all these things is pointless in the first place, okay? It's actually pointless. We want to be more productive, but the very definition of productivity is that you are doing things in relation to your identified goals. That's how you know you're more productive. You cannot go through, check off the list. You can't go in and identify what's working, what's not working, etc. if you have not actually come up with it, okay? And for some of us, for many of us, we are trying to organize, but it's not successful because we're all over the place. What are your identified goals? What are those goals that are exciting for you and passionate for you that you need to lean more into? If you have not identified these goals, then a lot of what we're doing is actually pointless. A lot of what we're doing is pointless. Okay, so we have to do a regulating. All right, so number 1, we create the vision. Number 2, you communicate your needs to your loved ones. All right, I am convinced that many of us have a lot of ideas circulating in our minds. We have a lot of dreams circulating in this brain of ours. We have a lot of notions and moving pieces that are happening in our minds, but we have not actually told the people that we love, that we care about, that these ideas are there. Okay, that these ideas are actually there, they're happening. Almost every single day, me and my husband have like a come to Jesus meeting. Even if it's as simple as what's on your schedule for today. Here's what's on my schedule for today. Let's sync them. Let's sync them. If you're thinking in your mind, I want to be spontaneous and go out for Starbucks coffee, but I have back-to-back coaching calls, like Tuesday and Fridays are my coaching days. Boom, 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 back to back, right? So maybe the idea of being quote unquote spontaneous might have to take a seat for just a day or two, right? For just a couple days while we come together with what these ideas are. But a lot of times, we have a whole lot of ideas and moving pieces that are happening only in here. They have not come out to give them to anybody that we care about. Your husband has no idea about the goal you have for your business for the next year. Your children have no idea how to better support you. They want to support, they want to help, but you're a notorious micromanager. They want to step in, right? All of these moving pieces move to the next thing, okay? So if you don't know what you want by creating the vision, and if you have not learned to communicate the needs you have with your loved ones, you are always going to be missing out, maxing out all over the place. You're always going to be scatterbrained. Listen, every single time I have a discovery call with a former client, new client, doesn't matter, okay? We all have a consistent thematic idea about where we are. And every single person tells me the same thing. Christina, I promise you, you've never heard of the story I'm getting ready to tell you right now. Because my husband does this and my kids do this and I have a dream of doing this. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I have not heard that story this afternoon. I haven't heard that story this afternoon. But I totally hear this story over and over again. We're all doing the same thing, which is why I'm here to talk about it right now. We're all doing the same thing. So we create the vision. We actually know what our identified goals are. Okay. If you don't know what will make today successful, I lead my entire week like this. As we are planning the Mamathon conference, which is another level this year. Like, Felicia, y'all thought it was good last year. OMG. Like, we have everyone from the editor at Essence Magazine to the oh my gosh, I can't remember her exact title, but she works with the Alabama Department of Minority Affairs. Like, we're doing all the things this year with all the elite women. You see what I'm saying? Every single day, I have to gauge myself. What would make today successful? What will make this week successful? And that's all that I do. I have to learn that it's okay to leave certain things undone, because what will make today or this week or this month successful is this. But if we haven't identified our goals, if we're all over the place mentally, y'all hearing me? If we are discombobulated and unclear, we are forever going to be looking around like, what is happening? Okay. So we have a vision. We know how to communicate our needs. Pillar number 3 is when you get to start delegating. Now, we as women are notorious for wanting to skip over all this other stuff and move straight to the delegating. We have a whole list of things our husbands could do differently. We have a whole list of things our children need to step up and do. We have an entire list of people we could hire. If I'm right, just tell me I'm right. We have a whole list of people that we could hire to make our lives easier. Christina, why can't I just start there? Why can't I just start at the good part, right? At the part where I get to feel aligned and clear and rested and all this stuff. I just want to start at pillar number 3. I know you told me there are 2 others in front of that, but do I even need those? Are these a necessity? The productivity coach, yours truly, the Olivia Pope for working moms, is telling you, yes, you do. You have to do these other things first in order to fully go forward. Now, before I start the actual training part of the Lunch and Learn, first, I want you to share this with a girlfriend, okay? And I want to say this. I've been talking in my DMs about this for the last couple of days. The idea of how a lot of communities, a lot of female leaders, I can't speak for men, I don't know about this, but I've seen a lot of female leaders, a lot of coaches, a lot of people who work with women. They are not actually pro family. Now I'm gonna say this, and I mean what I say, okay? There are a lot of, and I know I'm not the only one who is pro family, right? Like, I'm pro marriage. I am, I don't feel like you disagreeing with your husband is grounds for divorce, right? I don't feel like, you can't divorce your kids, right? So in my mind, I genuinely feel as though there are a lot of communities coming up, especially in today's current society, where we are actually anti-marriage, anti-family. It comes across as though the people that God has given you to be responsible over, you actually begin to resent them because they have more freedom than you do. Often, this freedom you have given them. You've told them over and over again, don't worry about it, I'm good. Don't worry about it. My needs are not as important as the needs of everyone else in this family. And there are a lot of leaders. Like, I saw somebody who I like the person, right? She was talking about, she was like, listen, if it's up to me, don't call me about things going on with your husband. I'm going to tell you to just leave him. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Your disagreements with your spouse are not the same as me disagreeing with my spouse. The willingness, the heart that your husband has or had for your family is not the same as my situation. So we have a lot of leaders who are now pushing women to be anti-family, and we can see the result. Are y'all hearing me? I said what I said. We can see the result. I'm not saying that being married is the holy grail. I'm not saying that you stay with somebody who is beating or cheating on you. Okay? That's not what Christina is saying at all. What I am saying is, you guys disagreeing about who's going to do the laundry and the dishes are not a grounds for you guys to break up. It does not mean he does not love you. It does not mean he does not care. All of these things. I told one of my clients, one of my favorites, it's a delight to coach her. And she's a mom of several little ones. And I said, listen, she said, sometimes I'm struggling to think if my husband cares as much as I want him to. And I said, of course he cares. She said, how do you know? I said, number one, he goes to work all day and you get to stay home with your girls. He doesn't force you, no matter what the financial situation is, to run out and get a job. He's letting you find your own way. That is care. I said, then in addition to that, when he did not know how to support you, he got you me. I was like, he invested in you through me to make sure you had exactly what you need. That is care at its finest. And then we let that simmer, right? We let that just marinate in her heart. Like, of course he cares, but the way he cares might look different than the Instagram husband, who they only show the highlight reels, right? So as we're thinking about delegating and broadening our scope, we cannot skip over the first 2 pillars of productivity, which is you actually create a vision that shows your identified goals. as a family and for you as an individual. And we've learned to communicate with our loved ones. My husband and I just this morning, we were like working through a whole bunch of family stuff, household stuff, all the things. And then I was like, hey, bro. He was like, yeah. I said, can we just like dap each other up because we're having this whole conversation without any anger, any frustration, any anger at the other person or any of this. I was like, we just doing what we need to do to handle business. He was like, you're right. We sure are. We've learned to communicate our needs to the people that we love. Okay. So let's move on and get to our 3 points. I have ranted for a few minutes, but it's about to get real, real good. Okay. So, everybody take a deep breath because I know I'm going in a little bit. Okay. So today we're talking about delegating as a superpower. Okay. Delegating as a superpower. Delegating for us is the third pillar of productivity. Okay. I've given two of the others that are there in the comments. And if you missed them, you can always go back and catch the replay. But delegating is number 3. Yes, it's our favorite. Yes, we always want to jump ahead to this instead of doing the other things that we need to do. But delegating doesn't get successful without a vision. Delegating doesn't stick without communication. Okay? So, delegating is the output of an individual, a company, a family in relation to your identified goals. Okay? And I said this before, but maybe someone just got on that. Good afternoon. That a lot of us have big goals, audacious goals, exciting things that no one else in our family knows anything about. Okay? Nobody else knows anything about it. Like, there were certain things I was working towards. Everybody in my house understands that Mama is working on Mamathon Conference. Okay? We are hosting ladies from the DC area and Texas and Georgia and the Carolinas and California and Ludec, Canada. When I say women are coming from everywhere to be a part of this event again this year, every single person in my family knows. My 5-year-old picked up a card. He said, Mama, this is your Mamathon Diaries card. Yes, it is. What you know about Mamathon Diaries? Even the baby knows. Mama's working on something big. Everybody in my family knows that this is what I'm working on. But many of us have big dreams. Y'all hang with me. Big dreams, audacious goals, things that we're excited about. And we're just holding on to it ourselves. We talk more about the goal with our besties, with the people in the Facebook groups, with all these other things than the people that we actually live with. We talk about all these things way more with folks that are outside of our home than the people who are inside. Maybe something internal tells us we won't have support. Maybe something internal tells us that, it's going to take too much away from the family. All these stories that we tell ourselves, they're all possible, right? It's okay. But let's not hang on to those stories. A lot of times we put those thoughts in the minds of other people, okay? So number 1, I've said some of this before. Number 1, delegating requires you to know what you need and where you are going. I cannot tell you how many wives I talk to, and they say, I want my husband to help me out more around the house. I, in turn, ask them, how would you like for him to help you? And I would be joking if I said that most of them have an ideology of what help should look like, that he should just know the help should manifest so you can go and do these other things. Okay? I'm talking to the moms with businesses. I'm talking to the women who have people in their family and you're like, listen, I need support. You feel like you don't have it. Okay? If he does not know how you actually want the help, how can it be delivered to you? So we really have to do some different varying analysis of what's working versus what is not. You have to know what you actually need. You have to know where you're actually going in order to say, hey, so I can be here, I need y'all to pick up the slack and do this. In order for me to, let's say you're under the weather, I'm not feeling the best. What does it look like for me to still be doing all the things and y'all see that I'm maxed out? Okay? But you have to know what you need. Hey, husband. Hey, kids. Hey, family or friends who've offered the help. I could really use support with this specific situation. Can you take the trash out? Can you cook dinner? Can you do this? Can you do that? Like these specific things, not just a lofty idea of I need help. Where's my help coming from? How am I going to do it? No. We're talking about specific stuff. We're talking about requesting it in a specific way. Okay. You have to know what you need and you have to know where you are going. I shared about conference stuff. I shared about how my schedule's pivoting a little because I'm coaching more, aligning most of my clients up for Tuesdays and Fridays and just different things. But I know where I'm going. I know exactly what the specific goal is for Christina, for my business every day. Every day I wake up and say, okay, if today was about to be super successful, who will I have needed to be? What will I have needed to do in order to make that happen? And yes, I absolutely refuse to be the person that does all the stuff. I talked to a mama, this was a couple days ago, and she gave me something so beautiful and we laughed about it together, We talked about how you can be caught in the intersection of feeling like you're doing too much, but also feeling like you're not doing enough. And then we laughed about it like, why as women are we like this? That delicate meeting place of, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. I'm doing so many things. But then you're also at the meeting place of, internally, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I should be doing more. I should be more. I should be delivering more consistent, more earning more, showing up more, all these mores that we have in our life. How we serve our families, how we serve our friends, how we serve clients, how we show up at work, all the things. And I'm assuming y'all can tell me in the comments or not. If you're here watching this live in the middle of the day, you either work afternoons or nights or you're an entrepreneur, right? We have all of those fitting in here. And so we got to ask ourselves, if I'm at this intersection, do I know where I am going? Do I know the direction that I'm going so I can delegate more? So I can give some things that are on this task away? So I can be the person that doesn't have the whole list and feel like I'm responsible for everything. Okay. So number one, you must know what you need and where you're going. Okay. Number two, delegating requires you to remove your ego. Delegating requires you to take your ego out the game. Sometimes we have an issue about being the woman that needs help. Okay. In addition to that, I think often about what needing help actually means. I say this because let's say, for example, I ask my kids to make me a cup of coffee, right? They are doing me a favor, they're helping me. Okay. That's you helping me. You washing the dish out that you're going to eat from today is not you helping me. You cleaning up the kitchen that you helped to dirty is not you helping me. You vacuuming up your own mess, that is not you helping me. Okay. So we need to identify who said this was your specific responsibility. Okay. Who said that? Who told you that this was your job? That cooking, cleaning, vacuuming, that was your responsibility. And anyone who steps in to do that is helping you. No, you're just helping the house to run. So simultaneously, though, many women have an internal feeling or an internal struggle about this is what I do. Okay. So you have to take your ego out of being the woman that needs extra support. Somewhere they can call it patriarchy, they can call it whatever they want. Okay. Somewhere in this thing, women took upon ourselves that this was our job. Right? We took upon ourselves that this is on my list of things to do. I'm supposed to cook and clean and make the beds and sweep it back in the house, supposed to be perfect. And now we live in 2023 too, where women want to secure the bag. Okay. So we have the old time version of womanhood calling us, maintaining the house, taking care of the children, all this stuff. Then we combine with that the 20 something version of woman, 1990 something, 20 something, where we went to work. And now, listen, I don't want to ask you for my nail money. Y'all feel me? I don't want to ask you for my nail money. I want to go pay for my own nails. I want to go get my own bag. I want to do these things myself. And there's nothing wrong with both of those. Okay. So I feel like the ideal place of womanhood right now is we want to have the best of both worlds. I want to be able to have a little something, but not have to have a little something, right? I want to be able to give and contribute. I don't want to have to do X, Y, Z. I want you to come and help me out around the house, right? Because we're equal partners in this thing, all right? So, but all of this requires you to take your ego out the game. All of this requires for you to make the decision that I'm going to be someone different. How many of us, our ego is what's driving our lack of receiving help or support? Okay. How many of us, our egos are what is slowing our progress? It's my ego. I feel like you should just know what I need, right? I feel like things should just unfold. And then beyond that, as I'm growing a business, right? Like Mamathon is a full-time job. This is what I do for my full-time job. Y'all hear me? Full-time. In all the ways. Full-time hours sometimes, a couple days a week. Okay. And full-time, I am a full-time coach in terms of earning potential as well. Okay. And so when we think about all of these things, I'm like, listen, I love the best of my both worlds. Okay. And to be able to work with my family in a way that our systems are smooth. The family living smooth doesn't mean my house is always spick and span. The house can be a mess, but it does not say anything to me about who I am as a person. I'm unbothered, right? I'm delivered. Okay, because I know that there are other things that I'm supposed to be doing. So when I've taken my ego out of the game, I'm no longer hung up on, oh snap, this isn't perfect. That's all right with me. It's not my job to make it perfect. 7 people live here. For those of you that don't know, I have 5 children and they are homeschooled. They are always here. So yeah, our house gets clean, but y'all still gonna live here again tomorrow. So it's all of these things together, okay? So number 1, delegating requires you know what you need and where you're going. Number 2, delegating requires you to remove your ego. Okay, you want to get more done. You want to reclaim your time. You want to grow your business to a level that's successful and replaces where you are now. You want to hit all the goals that you want to accomplish this year. All of this, in order for that to happen, you must take your ego out of the game. Me and my husband had a talk one time, and it was like, let's just decide not to have feelings about this. Yes, you can choose that. Let's decide that we're not going to be emotional about this specific decision. It was revolutionary. It was revolutionary. It was like, listen, can we just decide not to harper over what we feel about this, not play any mind games, not go back and forth? Let's just decide to not have feelings about this particular topic and just keep pushing forward and doing what we need to do for the family. And it worked. Egos removed, okay? So, number 3, delegating requires you to envision something bigger, bigger than where you are right now. The you that is a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, the future Christina, the future Lou, the future Mona, the future Janisha, everyone who's watching today, the future you requires for you to give some stuff away so that I can tap into who I'm supposed to be. Me doing all the work and hovering over all the missing pieces is not the way for me to get there. Me deciding to be the primary problem solver is slowing my potential down. And there are so many of us, we have our minds are all over the place, right? We are so busy doing all this stuff, hopping to and fro, that we don't even have time to envision the future me. In the book, The Prosperous Coach by Rich Litvin and Steve something, he talks about the default future. The default future, which is what will happen in your life. Hey, Nicola, what will happen in your life if you change absolutely nothing? What will happen in your life if you don't change anything at all? If you continue to live exactly like you have been living, what will happen? This is your default future. This is the you that is unfolding and happening. But if you decide to continue to live exactly like you have been, you don't find a way to curve that and move in a different direction, what will your life be like? If I stick with the same job, the same investment level, the same relationships, the same all these things, what will be the result of it later on? Thank you, Janisha, for putting the title of the book in the comments. The Prosperous Coach. Okay. So in this particular ideology, we got to analyze, if I just keep everything the same, if I don't push forward to do something new, what will life look like? One of our ladies, I don't think she's watching today, but she was talking about how she came down with COVID and she still felt some kind of way about letting her family bop all over the place and do things. She felt like I should still be doing stuff. Sick in the bed with COVID. Nobody wants your help when you got the Rona, right? Nobody wants that support. But something inside of us tells us that this small action for today is worth my big potential future for tomorrow. Something tells us that I would much rather mop the floor. Maybe it's the certainty of it. Oh, that's what it is. It's the certainty of I can do this right now and I'll get a result from it right now. So if you decide to do something, I always usually think about it like around the house and things like that, but it could be as simple as you going back to work on your website for the 500th time. You, I mean, goodness gracious, pick any like business initiative that is not taking you directly to talking to the people you need to talk to. Okay, that's not taking you directly to LinkedIn. That's not taking you directly to pitching for public relations opportunities. You're doing this smaller stuff. I can't count how few of y'all actually go to my website. Wave your hands in the comments if you have actually gone to my website to look me up. And if you have, it's because you went there right now. Most of the clients that I find that find me, one lady, she found me searching hashtag productivity coach on Instagram. And she was scanning through a whole bunch of lighter, fairer skinned sisters, scanned through them and saw Christina with her fluffy mohawk, booked her call on a Tuesday. No, excuse me, followed me on a Tuesday, booked a call the same day. We met on Thursday. She paid on Saturday. She was a working client the same week. Another sister who I'm coaching again, we met on LinkedIn. She found me on Instagram. She was a client that same week, right? There are a lot of people out here, they don't need a whole bunch of jumps and loops and climb Mount Everest to see if you're their person. They just know you're their person. So here you go, going to find extra stuff to do. I went off on a rant. We go find extra things to do that make us feel better instead of giving it away to somebody else. Give it away to someone else. Let somebody else do it. Because most of the ladies that I come in contact with that work with me, they're like, listen, I already know right now, today, the way that I'm operating is not sustainable. I'm making it okay right now. I'm doing okay right now, but my default future is not looking like I want it to look. I can only continue to micromanage for so long because I know that there's something bigger that's calling my name. So I need to work on this today. And they were ready today. One of my sisters, I was messaging her about the conference. She was like, girl, I hadn't seen anything. What's the former client? She said, what's the dates? We're messaging in Messenger. She books her flight while we are texting. They move quickly. They already know what they want. I told my husband, I said, this is the only energy I want for the rest of the year. People who know what they want. I understand that the way I'm doing things right now is just not sustainable. And I need to change it today. I need to start to get this together now. So they're ready to take their ego out of the equation. They are already envisioning something bigger. You're not looking for Christina to give you your vision. You already have it. God gave it to you already. Maybe the struggle is believing that it's possible. Maybe the struggle is the missing links in between to connect you to that destination. Maybe your schedule's so hectic and crazy, it's moving all over the place that it feels like your capacity is limited. It could be any one of those things. Okay, any one of them. I shared with one of my clients yesterday as we met, and she's branching into the coaching industry as well. And I talked to her about bridging the gap. How all of us are at the point where we see a bridge that stretches across this canyon, right? We see that bridge, but there are some planks missing in the bridge. Nobody feels confident, comfortable, capable of going across a rickety looking bridge, okay, with planks missing, going to reach their goal or their destination. The missing plank could be poor time management. The missing plank could be, Christina, I procrastinate. The missing plank could be, Christina, I like to micromanage. I'm a control freak. The missing plank could be, Christina, I'm exhausted. The missing plank could be, Christina, I'm overwhelmed. The missing plank could be, Christina, I don't know what to do. But as you're going across that bridge, all of us have some planks that are missing. So the bigger question is, what's missing for you? And we get to fill that gap in together. So I was sharing with her about how the support that she's going to be offering women who are transitioning is going to fill in those planks, and it's going to fortify. It's going to fortify their ideas, their missions, where they're going. Okay. But for many of us, our refusal to delegate, our refusal to work on our own process is slowing us down from helping other people. It's slowing us down from being a blessing to somebody else. Good afternoon. And so when we delegate, we're literally taking our ego out of the equation. And so something I've been doing the last couple of weeks also is when I'm coaching or when I'm talking to a new client, I'm like, okay, listen, if you were me, right? If you were me, what would you tell you? And one sister, she was like, Christina, why would you do me like that? I said, well, you told me you want to be a coach. You told me that that's part of your dream. So here you are on one side of your dream and you feel apprehensive. You feel nervous. You're not sure, all these things. I said, what would you tell you if the shoes were on the other foot? She said, Christina, first of all, I'm upset with you for asking me this. But then she said, I would tell myself to make the jump. I said, okay. But here we are in this situation, and something is still missing for you to feel comfortable and confident. I was like, you know who I am. I said, so I don't think that I'm the challenge, right? I said, maybe your challenge is, you're not sure about the coaching process. Will it work for you? And then on the other side of that, sometimes we're not sure about ourselves. How many times I have signed up for things, walked towards things, felt like it was for me, and I wasn't ready to follow through. What if I'm still not ready? Hi. What if I'm still not ready? And that's where we have to start thinking from a bigger mindset and with less capacity attached, okay? Like, I can't cover up what's not working. I got to unearth that so it can become possible. So as we talk about delegating, number one, a lot of us have big goals and no one knows about them. Okay. A lot of people have big goals and nobody knows. A lot of us have these ideas in our heart that we really want to see come to life, and nobody knows about it. You're just carrying on life as normal, carrying on, doing all the things just like normal, but you have this in your mind, you have this in your heart that you want to accomplish. Like, God put it there clear as day. And you're operating in your family like you want it, but you haven't included them in to how they can support you getting there. So you must know what you need and where you're going. Number two, delegating requires you to remove your ego. I know you're super. I know you're amazing. I know you do incredible work. I know that you're like the world's best housewife. I know you're a great homeschooling mom. I know that you're this sky's the limit, full of potential business owner. I know you're all of these things. I know you're a super hot wife. You want to be a present mom. I know you're all of this. But baby, to go to the next level, you got to take your ego out of it. We got to take ourselves out of, I should know how to do this already. We should take ourselves out of, he should just know. Right? We got to take ourselves out of all of this extra drama so that you can move forward, okay? So Janisha says, what if you can't talk about it? The people you think care about you only talk about how it won't work or say and do things to keep you from moving forward. They live under the false pretense of support, but don't really support. They only tear down and call you ridiculous. My thought pattern is, because I know Janisha, I'm going to speak on this because I know her, okay? Is that we got to watch who we share stuff with. Okay. Now, a lot of times, for example, Janisha is happily single, right? She's not even worried about all the extra. She is happily single. Okay. Her rules and regulations will be different than someone who has a husband. Janisha's rules and regulations are different because she has passed the graduation line. Her kids are grown. Okay. She has different rules than some of us have, who still have children in middle school, elementary school, stuff like that. Okay. I think our dog got out. Okay. So we have different rules for somebody who, is doing these other things. So you got to think about what it is that you need from the people that are closest to you, okay? I also firmly believe that God knows what we stand in need of, and there is a person who we can confide in to help us meet our goals. Okay, there is a person that we can listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this person this week. Maybe not for the rest of the year, just this week. This is my goal. Okay, so because this is my goal, I'm going to move in this direction. I'll share with this one person. So Janisha is correct. Some people will talk about your dreams. Some people will ridicule you. But Janisha is a mama who has crossed the finish line. Her children are grown. Okay. And she is happily single. Okay. So she has a different set of rules and regulations. When I talk about sharing with the people that you love that are in your corner, many of us have a whole husband at home who loves us and supports the family, right? But maybe he can't support what he doesn't know about. Good afternoon. He can't support what he doesn't know about. Your kids, some of them are taller than you, and you're still micromanaging them instead of equipping them to be primary problem solvers in the home. You are still attached to or loving floating all over the place like Mary Poppins while you're trying to grow your business, while you're trying to build your career, while you're trying to take care of yourself. We're still trying to do all of these things. Okay. So for a lot of us, our ego is actually wrapped up in our refusal to delegate. We are here at this intersection, the intersection of feeling like we're not doing enough, but at the same time feeling like I am doing way too much. It's both and. It's both and. And so I always position this when we talk about delegating because often we're just missing out on this beautiful what's on the other side of it. Okay. Even to this day, y'all, I promise you, some days I struggle with remembering to send things to my assistant to do. Sometimes I have a client she owns a cleaning service. So she'll come and she'll bring her cleaning crew and they will whirl through my house. Somewhere internally, maybe I think, because I'm the productivity lady, I should be productive in cleaning my house too. That's not what I am paid to do. I am not paid to clean my house. I'm paid to coach, to speak, to consult. I do nonprofit work. We plan an annual conference every year, October 27th through the 29th in Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? Like those are things that's part of my job. Cleaning up after my kids, not so much. Some days I do it because I just want to clear my mind, but other times I'm like, hey y'all, come on, get it together. Let's work together as a team. Okay. But sometimes because we have said yes so often, it's hard for us to turn that switch off. Okay. It can become a challenge, even a stronghold for us to turn off the switch. And so for those of you who want to delegate more, okay, I'm going to review one last time. You got to know where you're going. You have to have a clear vision, okay? Because delegating and productivity are directly tied to your identified goals. If you don't have identified goals, how can you be more productive? Number 2, it requires you to remove your ego. No more Superwoman cape. I feel like you can keep the cape. It's glittery. It looks really good, right? But then when it comes to my to-do list, I just refuse to be the only person that's on it. And then number 3, it requires you to envision something bigger. I am more than the job I do in my home. We want our daughters to grow up and believe that that they are more than what they do. We have to emulate that for them first. Okay, we got to paint the picture for them first. I have impact to make in the world. I can't do that if all I'm doing is micromanaging over my family and cleaning everything. And I also have a legacy to create. Okay, I am committed. I, Christina, am committed to doing what I am paid to do. All right. If you are struggling with that ideology, okay, that's where the change has to happen. Okay, so that is the lunch and learn teaching portion. Okay. You got to get your ego out the game. You got to believe that you're here for something bigger. Okay. And you also have to know exactly where you're going and what you want to do. For many of us, working this idea solo is a challenge. Okay. For many of us, we are working our way across the bridge. Okay. We are at a certain place in our life right now, and then we are working on getting across to the other side. But we have some planks missing. Okay. Some planks that are keeping our time low, our schedules on level 10. We are lacking clarity in our thinking. We have so many ideas. Which idea do I do first, Christina? What option do I pursue first? How do I know what's the right thing? What's not right for this season? Christina, I'm really moving in this direction right here, but it feels like my family can't handle me changing and me growing and shifting some things around. I feel like my capacity is low. I struggle with trying to move too fast, but then I also struggle with procrastinating. Like, how does that even work? I struggle with doing too much, but then I struggle with feeling like I'm not doing enough. How does that work? I see this vision. I know it's possible. You've told me it's possible. But somewhere along the line, there's a disconnect. And so this is where productivity coaching comes in. Okay. Our mission is to help you get more done by strategically doing less. We work with you to get you out of buffering mode, right? Everything is pending. I'm not really sure. Always rolling things over to another day. I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into a week from then. And then 2 weeks from then. Next thing you know, it's on your 2024 vision board. For many of us, we have so many ideas, we're not sure which one is going to get us to the destination the fastest. Yeah. For many of us, Janice said tomorrow never comes. I know that's right. Tomorrow comes next year. But for many of us, this is where we're stuck, okay? You know you're meant for greatness. You see yourself on the next level. You have a vision that's going to change the world. Like, nobody could have told me Mamathon would be like internationally known. We're just getting started, okay? Logos on top of logos on top of logos, doing more and more and more all the time. Okay, partnering with nonprofit organizations, educational advocacy. I'm talking about like sitting down with legislators, talking about what parents need, educational choice. Like, what? I have a meeting on Friday with the Alabama Policy Institute talking about ed choice. Alabama policy? Like, where we're going, I never envisioned that for myself. I never envisioned having working with Essence, Fox News, Red Table Talk, Yahoo Parent, all of these things was never in my thought pattern when I started. But if I can sow any seeds into you all that what you see is possible for yourself, let me be that voice. Let me hold that belief for you that what you think you can do, you really can. Let me be the one that hypes you up every single week and gives you the practical steps and accountability to get you there. Our clients exceed their expectations. And I'm going to tell you something, the biggest growth is often intangible. It is not something that you can touch. It's something inner that you know you're a different person. So when you see a problem or a situation, you no longer spiral like you used to. I told my client yesterday, Lude, you know Tracy, I was like, listen, I was like, if all my clients get out of this partnership is I know how to control my thinking now, that the thought that my brain offers me is not law. That when I doubt myself, sometimes this is not law. This is just a thought that I'm being offered and I can choose to take it or not take it. That I am who God says I am, nothing less. Nothing less. That I get to be the fullest version of myself. I will not dumb that down. I won't dim it down. I won't have any second thoughts. Nope, it's just who I am. How do I fully be her today? What do I need to give away in order to fully be her? Because the future Christina, she just doesn't hover over all these other things. So for all of you who are thinking and you're considering and you're like, Christina, I know there's something big that's next, but oh my goodness, this current schedule is not offering it to me. Okay. What my mind is doing, I spend more time mulling over what's the right choice than actually taking action. I don't know how to have that conversation with my spouse. I don't know how to organize my children. I don't know how to get my family together. I don't know how to control my thinking. That's slowing me down. I don't know how to rally together the systems I need so that it flows. I don't want to be all over the place. I don't want to be absent minded. I just fully believe that that's not for me. A lot of us, we have subscribed to overwhelm because we feel like it's common. We feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. This happens to everybody. This is just a part of my life until my children go to college, right? Until I reach this age, maybe it's 50. I don't know what that age is for all of us, right? Once I reach this place, surely my overwhelm will subside. Okay. But what if overwhelm is a product of our thinking habits and being slow to take action on the things that are important and having more interesting conversations with the people that we love? What if my overwhelm comes from that? That has nothing to do with your children still being in the house. Nothing. And so when we dive deep into this, okay, we can talk about delegating here all year. You can go back into the Mamathon page and you can look up a video on every single topic for the last decade. I promise you. But there is something uniquely amazing about working through the things that are holding you up as an individual. My client told me yesterday, she was like, I always want one-on-one. I always want one-on-one. She's like, because I get to sit down and just look myself in the mirror for a whole hour and problem solve on just myself. Problem solving just myself. I had the honor of coaching one of my very best friends. Like if she passed away, I would raise her children best friend. And my son said, Mama, why you coaching Auntie so-and-so? Like, you know, is she your friend? She could just call you on the phone. And I told her, I said, coaching and you just calling me to Kiki is totally different, right? Totally two different things. So because for this whole hour, all we do is problem solve and troubleshoot for you as the individual in order to get you to your goal in a clear way, not overwhelming, not feeling like I don't have the capacity, not feeling like I'm this person. I don't want to be this person anymore. Some of us, we have these habits, communication habits, procrastination. We are just sick of ourselves. You hear me? We like, how do I even turn this off? Okay. And that's where I come into play to support you through that journey, through all of that. Okay. So as you are tossing your ego to the side, as you are trying to make it all flow, as you are working on brainstorming bigger and bigger, you know that God has put some incredible things in your heart to do, but maybe you're missing some things on that bridge, okay? You're standing there on one side of the canyon, you can clearly see to the other side. You know who you want to be. You see the vision that's in your heart, but there's some missing planks on that bridge. None of us are comfortable walking out over the ravine, taking the big jump, and that bridge isn't well fortified. So together, you and I fortify that bridge to help you reclaim your time, streamline your schedule, heighten your energy, bring you more fulfillment, help you to get more rest, make more money. Like, oh my goodness, it's so good over here. Okay. So we look forward to seeing you guys this October at the Mamathon conference. And baby, if you want the VIP treatment, if you want VIP treatment, if you know you need the extra, not even need, like you'll live without it. You'll live without it. But a lot of us, we don't want to go into our next level raggedy. We don't want to go to our next place struggling. I want to fully know who I am, fully know where I'm going. I want to get there loving my life. I want to get there loving my life. If that's the case, my DMs will be open this afternoon before I head to Bible study. Let's talk about making some magic happen. Okay? I love you all dearly. Reach out to me in DM. Let's do the things. I'm excited about what God is doing in your life and in my life. But ultimately, I firmly believe that we can make so much more happen when we are available, when we are focused, when we are intentional. And I'm telling y'all, I just want to love the life I live. Like, I don't want to be frustrated every day. I don't want to feel anxious or upset every day. I don't want to always be dreaming of a different life. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in my current place, I can feel grateful and sufficient, and I have enough. No matter what my situation is, I always just feel like it's enough. Thank you, guys, it's enough, right? And so as I go to the next level, I get to stretch my capacity like a balloon, right? To really build and create a life that I love. So if that's you, my DMs are open. Let's talk about coaching this year, especially if you're coming to the conferences. Let us love on you well, help you to reach your goals without all the extra stress, because it's really good living over here. Okay. All right. I look forward to talking to you guys in DMs. Shoot me a message. Let's figure out what kind of magic we can create together in 2023. All right. Talk to you guys soon.